run a test on this thing. I want adult playground. I'm pushing a reprimandum. I mean, an agenda for health. And one way of doing it is by doing it by yourself. 4. Man, it didn't even get it. I wish I had a camera, man, because I can't punch and hold the thing back at the same time. Ooh, okay. Maybe a bit up there. Dang, that's hardcore. Oh, that was pretty. And these guys kind of look like flies. Whoop, little piggyback. That was cute. A bee did a piggyback. There's a new industrial era. They're saying that it's going to be all computer. There's going to be no more consumerism with hand-to-hand people. Your hand-tossed thin crust is going to be done with robot in a vending machine, like the web of the internet. How many people, when they first heard that, was like, you got to be kidding me, get out of here. There's no thing where you go on the box and you can reach out across the land. Same with the telephone. The first time the person was told what a telephone was, they were said, you have got to be kidding me. Symmetric, the less it has to guess. Let's be infinity clear, because we're being pretty abstract. Private property, but this is passed by because it's on a trail. So it's hard to take it serious when it isn't being literal. Well, here's what we're trying to get at. A QR code. This can be a simile when you're just looking at like waters, the Mandelbrot set. This is what we're getting at. Nature all encompasses, if you pan out enough, that the rivers all are connecting into each other. And you can look at these as like outlets. And when you have an outlet, you're going to have yourself a plug. And what type of a plug do you use over an entire land is like these data centers. And these data centers are the culmination of fiber optic cables being put up and everywhere, and 5G panels being put up everywhere too. These are like plugs where you don't need to have a plug anywhere, but you have these giant plugs, and they are what localize a plug anywhere. And the more bland that you are, you're gonna get more like a data point, and the more you can be simulated as a QR code to a data center. Sorry, I have a hard time talking because this stuff that they're saying is the new normal. I've yet to understand the logic in any of it. So I'm putting parts of the compartmentalization together, and I mean, that's why models and actors are so great, where they just are pretending that's what they don't claim that they're not. The show is that's what they specialize in. But the showmanship of the broker, he has to gain your trust in order for you to even be talking to him and believing his credibility, is that he is choosing for you to have a good partnership with him. That's half of his game. The lobbyist, I can imagine that they have to portray in such theatrics upon getting the position. Bureaucrats, they're par of the course. How important they are is when you're considering a swamp, and whether you're a lobbyist, a broker, or a bureaucrat, you're dealing with stuff and looking at a blueprint. It isn't the reality. They're all using their imagination to the best of their ability. They can call them a professional, but an ice cream man can be a professional ice cream man and have more to do with reality than they can. So if you ever have the pleasure of meeting with these individuals, you need to know that they're basing you as a blueprint to the real situation, the material world, what you're looking for. And at the end of the day, everyone wants to find the key to someone's heart and in finding a soulmate. And in order to do this, you don't want to be seen as just another average Joe or Jane. And so what you do is find yourself a carat, 24 carat, and this is what you are eventually looking for, the key to a heart. If you're stuck in a dead end, you're going to have to just be narrow-minded to think that this is the one true way for you to express the key to a heart to finding a soulmate. This, of course, is done through action of a test. And a test is different than a function because it's not guaranteed. And this is one thing to another that can be explained how like opposites attract versus as above, so below. They're in the same accord, but for different measures. One thing that I've come to notice is how important it is to be a difference maker. Another thing that I have seen are lobbyists who are inside of lobbies, bureaucrats who are inside bureaus, and brokers who can break you off a great deal. From the 90s was thousands of bee species, and currently a quarter of them have died out. Florin.
Hey man, don't I see you in the gym?
Yeah, that's me, and now I'm rocking out. So when someone is flagged on the internet, it doesn't really sit well with me because they're regulating people on how they're feeling. This is concerning because the current notion is for government officials thinking that they are to look out in people's health. This is scary because the people are supposed to be able to mandate their own health. That's none of the government's business. The government officials are to uphold the law for that security. That security has been manhandled by an invisible giant and covered by a swamp, allowing him to be not only invisible but untouchable. And when you don't have all the money in the world, then you can do what you want, like explode balloons and then pay people to hit others with flags. I scoff at them because this is what pure Americano is. It is spitting at the royalty because you're not wanting to have royalty fees, the land of the free, whereas the early settlers had to be farmers because, quite frankly, the Indian Native Americans didn't have your retail stores or grocery. So if the early settlers who came over on the Mayflower, which some didn't make it because they got so sick from not having anything to eat except tack, when they got here, if they weren't farming, they were getting passed away. And when you're getting passed away from not farming, you have to be a trailblazer and a pioneer. You can see this easily when you're looking down south, because they have a lot of farms down there, and with the cowboy and the country music, they invoke in a thing called square dancing. And this is pure Americana. Working in a farm, if you're in a country a lot, that's surprisingly a stereotype that is legitimate. Farmers and then cowboys go hand in hand because of the prairie and the open land. And when you're farming and moving all these hay bales and gardening and bending to hoe, you're gonna get sore. And so what the country goers do is engage in a square dance. This is not your fancy zippy disco. It's where you put your feet far apart so that you're square and you don't fall, but you still are able to move around. And that's what a square dance technically is. You can treat it however you like, but that's the basic. Later, after square dancing, came the mashed potato, where it would go a step further by moving the torso in side to side while keeping balance with a wide stance. In the 50s, this mashed potato was the hip thing to do.